a small village near a big forest, there lived a young warrior named Kaito. He was strong, disciplined, and known for his skill with the sword. People admired him, and his name was respected among warriors. Since childhood, he had trained every day, perfecting his techniques and sharpening his strikes. He had won many duels and proved his strength again and again. His master once said he had the potential to become a great warrior, but something troubled him. No matter how much he trained, there was always a moment of hesitation in battle. A small doubt would creep into his mind, slowing his movements. It was not fear of pain or losing, but something deeper. Why do I hesitate, he often wondered. Why does my heart hold me back when my hands know what to do? Then came the day of his greatest failure. A tournament was held in the village, bringing fighters from nearby places. It was a chance to test skill and prove strength. Kaito entered, expecting to win as he always had. His opponent was weaker, slower, and less skilled. Victory should have been easy. The duel began, and Kaito quickly took control, forcing his opponent back. The fight was almost over. Then, at the final moment, as he raised his wooden sword for the last strike, doubt stopped him. In that split second of hesitation, his opponent struck first. The wooden sword hit Kaito's ribs and he fell to the ground. Pain shot through his body, but the shame hurt even more. The crowd gasped. People whispered in surprise. His master looked away, disappointed. Kaito lay on the ground, fists clenched, breathing heavily. His heart pounded, not from effort, but from anger and confusion. How could he, the village's best warrior, lose like this? Enough, the word echoed in his mind. He could not live with this weakness any longer. That evening, as the sun set and the sky turned red and gold, he made a decision. He packed his sword, wrapped a cloak around himself, and walked toward the silent forest. Deep inside the misty woods lived a man known as the Old Master of Misty Grove. People spoke of him in whispers, saying he held the wisdom Kaito needed. With each step into the dark forest, Kaito felt the weight of his journey. He did not know what he would find, or what the Old Master would teach him, but he knew one thing: he would not return until he had defeated the doubt inside him. For 3 days, Kaito traveled through the dense forest. He followed winding trails, crossed rushing streams, and climbed steep hills, his resolve unshaken. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. The rustling leaves and distant bird calls faded into silence, and the air grew heavy with mist. At last he reached a secluded clearing where a grove of bamboo stood tall and slender, their green stalks swaying gently in the wind. The sight was calming, yet mysterious, as if the forest itself was alive, whispering secrets to those who listened. There, seated on a moss-covered rock, was the Old Master. He was a frail man, wrapped in simple robes, his face lined with age. Yet his eyes were sharp, bright, like they had seen the world and understood its every secret. His posture was relaxed, yet there was a quiet strength in him, as if he needed no sword to be powerful. The master sipped tea, unmoved by Kaito's presence. The silence stretched between them, deep and unbroken. Kaito stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Master," he said, "I have trained my whole life, yet I still hesitate in battle. I am strong, but I feel weak. I know my techniques, but I fear failure. How can I overcome this doubt?" The master did not answer immediately. Instead, he placed his cup down and pointed at the bamboo swaying in the wind. "Do you see the bamboo, young warrior?" Kaito frowned. "Yes, master, but what does that have to do with me?" The old man simply smiled. "Wait." And so they sat in silence. The wind rustled through the bamboo, making the stalks sway and creak. Time passed, and the sound became a rhythm, soft, steady, endless. Kaito shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. The master closed his eyes, as if listening to something beyond what Kaito could hear. A bird landed on one of the stalks, causing it to bend under its weight. For a moment, the bamboo leaned far to the side, but then, as the bird flew away, it straightened again, unharmed. The old man finally spoke. "The bamboo bends, but it does not break. It sways with the wind, yet stands tall. Do you understand?" Kaito's brow furrowed. I think so, but how does this help me?" The master smiled again, but this time there was patience in his gaze. "You hesitate because you resist. You fear failure because you fight against what may come. Like the bamboo, you must learn to move with the wind, not against it. To be strong is not to be rigid, it is to be flexible. Kaito stared at the swaying bamboo. He had always believed strength was about being unshakable, about never bending under pressure. But now, he saw something different. The bamboo did not resist the wind. It did not fight against the force that pushed it. It moved with it. And in doing so, it never broke. For the first time, a small understanding formed in his mind, but he was not ready yet. And so, they sat in silence once more. That evening, dark clouds gathered over the forest. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of rain. A distant rumble of thunder echoed through the mountains, a warning of what was to come. Soon the storm arrived. Rain poured down in fierce sheets, drumming against the earth and turning the soil to thick, clinging mud. The wind howled through the trees, bending branches, tearing leaves from their homes, and sending them spiraling into the chaos. Thunder cracked like the heavens were splitting apart, and flashes of lightning illuminated the trembling world below. Kaito stood beneath the shelter of the master's hut, watching as the mighty oaks, their trunks thick and proud, stood rigid against the storm. They did not bow. They did not bend. They resisted the wind with all their strength, and then they began to break. One by one, branches snapped, their loud cracks like distant war drums. Some trees groaned under the weight of the storm, their deep roots unable to hold against the unrelenting force. Then, with a final, mournful creak, one of the largest oaks gave in. Its mighty trunk split apart, and it crashed to the earth with a deafening roar, shaking the ground beneath Kaito's feet. Kaito's breath caught in his throat. His heart pounded in his chest as he stared at the fallen giant. How could something so strong be brought down so easily? But when he turned to look at the bamboo, he saw something different. The bamboo did not fight the wind. It did not resist. Instead, it bent. It swayed. It yielded to the storm's fury, but it did not break. It danced with the wind, moving in harmony with its force. It leaned low, allowing the storm to pass over it, never opposing, never rigid, only flowing, only adapting. And when the storm finally passed, the mighty oaks lay shattered, their strength their downfall. Yet the bamboo stood tall once more, untouched, unharmed, as if the storm had never come. The master turned to Kaito, his eyes filled with quiet wisdom. He had not spoken a word during the storm, only watching, waiting for Kaito to understand on his own. You fight like the oak, rigid, unyielding, trying to force your way through every battle. That is why you struggle. He placed a gentle hand on Kaito's shoulder. Strength is not in resisting the storm. Strength is in bending with it, flowing with it, moving as the wind moves. The master reached for a slender stalk of bamboo, running his fingers over its smooth surface. A true warrior is not one who stands firm like a stone. A true warrior is one who, like the bamboo, knows when to yield and when to rise again. Kaito stared at the bamboo, the lesson sinking deep into his heart. The old way, the way of rigid strength, had only brought him hesitation and defeat. But this was something different. A new path lay before him, as vast and open as the wind itself. The warrior's awakening, Kaito sat in deep thought. The words of the master echoed in his mind, intertwining with the vision of the fallen oak and the resilient bamboo. All his life, he had believed that strength meant never bending, never yielding, never giving in. He had trained to be firm, to stand tall, to never falter. Yet, standing firm had only made him fragile in battle. It had made him hesitate, made him fear the unknown, made him doubt himself. But now he saw the truth. A tree that refuses to bend will snap. A river that refuses to flow will stagnate. A warrior who refuses to adapt will fall. I must not fight the storm, he realized. I must move with it. From that day forward, Kaito changed the way he fought. He no longer relied on brute force alone. Instead, he learned to move like the wind, to adjust like the river, to yield like the bamboo. He stopped fearing hesitation. He stopped fearing failure. Instead of resisting the flow of battle, he became a part of it. When the time came for his next duel, his opponent attacked with fury. But Kaito did not meet strength with strength. He dodged effortlessly. his body flowing like water. He sidestepped with ease, never resisting, never forcing. And when the moment was right, he struck like a falling leaf carried by the wind. His opponent fell in a single blow. Kaito had not fought against the storm, he had danced with it. And for the first time in his life, his heart felt light. He had finally learned the greatest lesson. True strength is not in fighting the storm, but in learning to dance with it. The lesson: life will bring storms. If you resist, you will break. But if you learn to bend, to flow, to embrace change rather than fear it, no storm will ever defeat you. Like the bamboo, be strong yet flexible. Like the river, be steady yet adaptable. Like the wind, move freely without fear. For this is the way of the warrior. For this is the way of life.